In my past life, I suffered domestic violence at the hands of my husband. I secretly fled with my daughter to get away from him. I warned my daughter repeatedly never to reveal our new address. She promised she wouldn't. But the moment my back was turned, she gave the location to her father. My husband found us and beat me to death in our rental apartment. My daughter just nibbled, acting like the victim. What did I do wrong? I just wanted a complete family.
Fine.
In this life, you and your good father can rot together forever. When I opened my eyes, I was back. The sensation was disorienting, like surfacing from deep water, where I'd been drowning. The familiar weight of dread settled in my stomach before I even registered where I was. The scent hit me first, that mixture of Travis's cheap cologne lingering in the air, the mustiness of our cramped apartment, and underneath it all, the metallic tang of my own fear that had soaked into these walls over the years. I was standing in the middle of the living room, shoving clothes into a suitcase. My hands were trembling. They always trembled when Travis was out of the house, that involuntary response my body had learned from years of walking on eggshells. The late afternoon light filtered through our grimy windows, casting long shadows across the worn carpet. I could hear the neighbors' TV through the paper-thin walls, some game show with canned laughter that felt obscene against the backdrop of my reality. My husband, Travis, was a psycho, a violent, abusive piece of trash who didn't just hit me. He threatened to kill both me and our daughter, Lily, if I ever tried to divorce him. The threats weren't empty. I'd learned that the hard way, over 8 years of marriage that had slowly crushed me into something small and silent. Travis had a way of making his violence feel inevitable, like whether you couldn't escape. He'd hold a knife to my throat and whisper what he'd do if I ever left, his breath hot and beer-soaked against my ear, and I'd believe every word because his hands had already shown me what he was capable of. In my last life, I waited until he went out drinking with his loser buddies. I grabbed Lily, and we fled to another city. I changed my number, cut off all my friends and family, and told Lily 1,000 times, "Do not contact your father." She nodded like a good little angel. But the second my back was turned, she was texting Travis, telling him she missed her daddy. Travis sweet-talked the address out of her. He drove all night, kicked down the door of our rental, and beat me until I stopped breathing. The memory of my death was visceral, not like remembering a dream, but like it had happened 5 minutes ago. I could still feel the impact of his fists, the way my ribs had cracked under his boot, the taste of blood filling my mouth as I tried to beg Lily to call for help. But she just stood there, phone in hand, watching. Not filming, thank God for small mercies, but not helping either. Just observing her father murder her mother with the detached curiosity of someone watching a nature documentary. The media ate it up. Lily, with tears streaming down her face, told the reporters, "What did I do wrong? I just wanted a complete family. If Mom hadn't run away, Dad wouldn't have gotten so mad and hit her so hard." She testified in court that it was an accident. Travis got a light sentence for manslaughter, 5 years. When he got out, Lily was all grown up. They played the happy father-daughter duo, completely forgetting I ever existed. I'd seen the social media posts in those final moments before everything went black, some cruel cosmic joke that let me glimpse the future. Lily at her high school graduation, Travis beaming beside her. "So proud of my little girl," the caption read. Hundreds of likes. Dozens of comments about what a strong single father he was, raising a daughter alone after his wife tragically passed away. They'd rewritten history, turned my murder into a cautionary tale about unstable women who abandoned their families. I gave birth to the knife that stabbed me in the back. But God has a twisted sense of humor. I was back. The hatred in my chest was so hot it made me shake. My hands clenched around a child's t-shirt, pink, with sparkles, the kind of thing I could never afford for myself but always bought for Lily, and I felt something inside me calcify. This wasn't the desperate, defeated woman who died in that rental apartment. This was something new, forged in the fires of betrayal, and given a second chance I never asked for but would damn sure use. Just then, the bedroom door creaked open. Lily walked in, her ponytail swinging. She looked at the half-packed suitcase and frowned, looking annoyed. "Mom, are we running away again?" She kicked the suitcase against the wall before I could answer. She rolled her eyes. "You're such a snowflake, Mom. Dad works hard all day, so he got mad and smacked you a couple of times. Big deal. You're being dramatic. Even if we run, he's just gonna find us and beat you again anyway." Hearing those cold, heartless words, the exact same words she said in my past life, my heart stopped. But this time, I saw her clearly. Really saw her. Not through the rose-colored lenses of maternal love, but with the clarity of someone who'd already lived through the consequences of that love. She was 8 years old, but there was something ancient and cruel in her eyes, something that had nothing to do with childhood innocence. She stood there in her name-brand sneakers, the ones I'd worked double shifts to buy, and looked at me like I was an inconvenience, like the bruises on my face were an embarrassment rather than a crime. Could it be my rage was faster than my brain? "You're the one who tells Travis where we are every time, aren't you?" Lily froze. She stepped back, startled by the look in my eyes. I had never looked at her like this before. The mask of the perfect, patient, self-sacrificing mother had slipped, and underneath it was something that made even a child sense danger. She mumbled, "If I don't tell him while he's cooled off, I'll be homeless forever." So that was it. The puzzle pieces clicked into place with sickening clarity. Every time I ran, whether to my parents' old house or a hotel, Travis found me. I always wondered how a simple bus driver had the skills of a private investigator. I'd thought maybe he'd hired someone or tracked my phone, or had connections I didn't know about. It was this little, white-eyed wolf. This ungrateful brat was snitching on me the whole time. She wasn't afraid of being homeless. She was afraid of losing her comfortable life, the one where mommy absorbed all of daddy's rage while she got to play princess. She'd calculated the cost-benefit analysis at 8 years old and decided my safety was worth less than her convenience. The new hate mixed with the old hate, and I snapped. I raised my hand and slapped her across the face with everything I had. Smack. The sound cracked through the apartment like a gunshot. My palm stung, but the pain was satisfying, clarifying. For 8 years, I'd never raised a hand to this child. I'd been the perfect gentle mother, even as she learned to manipulate and betray me. Even as she sided with my abuser again and again. She didn't see it coming. She clutched her cheek, staring at me with pure venom. "You hit me." "Damn right I did." I slapped her again. Smack. Seeing the red handprint blooming on her face cooled my anger just a little. It shouldn't have felt good, but it did. After everything she'd done, everything she would have done, this tiny act of retaliation felt like justice. "You heartless little bitch, get out." She glared at me. She was only 8, but she had the same demonic look as Travis. That same entitled fury at being held accountable, that same shock that someone had dared to fight back. I kicked her out of the room. If I looked at her for one more second, I might have killed her myself. Outside the door, the little brat started wailing and kicking the wood. "Just you wait. I'm gonna call Dad and tell him to come kill you." "Wait." "Oh, I'll wait." My voice was calm now, cold as winter. "I want to see how long you last with your misogynistic, abusive father without me there to be his punching bag." The kicking stopped for a moment. Even through her tantrum, some animal part of her brain recognized the shift in me, recognized that the dynamics had fundamentally changed. I looked down at the suitcase. It was mostly filled with Lily's clothes, her toys, her snacks. The evidence of my own stupidity was laid out before me like a crime scene. Designer jeans for her, threadbare leggings for me, her tablet, and her collection of American Girl dolls, my own phone held together with tape. I had spent years being a slave to this child, wearing rags while she dressed like a princess. Not anymore. I dumped her shit on the floor. The clothes scattered across the carpet, the toys tumbling out. One of her dolls landed face up, its dead eyes staring at the ceiling, and I felt a hysterical laugh bubble up in my throat. How appropriate. I grabbed my ID, my phone, and walked out the door. I had train tickets bought, but I knew Travis would check the rails, so I bought a plane ticket to a city on the other side of the country. Without that little anchor dragging me down, everything was easy. No diaper bag to pack, no special snacks to remember, no favorite toy that couldn't be left behind. Just me and a small backpack with everything that mattered, which, it turned out, wasn't very much at all. 2 hours later, I was in the air, leaving behind 30 years of hell. The plane ascended through the clouds, and I watched my old city shrink below me until it disappeared entirely. From up here, you couldn't see the violence or the fear. You couldn't see the apartments where women like me lived in terror, or the families that looked normal from the outside while rotting from within. From up here, everything looked clean and ordered, and for the first time in 8 years, I could breathe without calculating whether the sound would set Travis off. Part 2. The Unraveling. Unlike last time, I didn't throw away my old SIM card. I put it in a burner phone. Lily thinks her daddy is so great. Let's see how magical her life is when I'm not there to cook and take the beatings. The burner phone sat in my bag like a bomb, but I couldn't bring myself to turn it on yet. I checked into a cheap motel. Not too cheap, because I'd learned that the truly desperate places asked no questions but also offered no safety, and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the device. In my past life, I'd cut all contact immediately, thrown myself into the void to avoid giving Travis any way to track me. It had been terrifying but also liberating, like amputating a diseased limb. This time felt different. This time, I wanted to watch. I landed and turned on the burner phone. It exploded with notifications. The screen lit up like a Christmas tree. Texts, missed calls, voicemails, WhatsApp messages. The sheer volume was almost impressive. I'd been gone for less than 6 hours, and already their world was falling apart without me there to hold it together. I opened WhatsApp. The first thing I saw was a photo of Lily, her face swollen and bruised. For a split second, something maternal flickered in my chest, some deeply buried instinct that had kept me alive through years of abuse, that had made me believe sacrifice was the same as love. But then I remembered her standing in that rental apartment, watching Travis kill me. I remembered her tears at my funeral, fake as fool's gold. I remembered her testimony that had set my murderer free. The maternal instinct died before it could fully form. Then a voice message from Travis screaming, "Hannah, get your ass back here right now, or I'm gonna beat this little money waster to death." Travis was an equal opportunity abuser. He hit Lily too. The only reason she survived this long was because I always threw my body in front of her. I'd taken broken ribs for her, black eyes, concussions that left me dizzy for weeks. I'd been hospitalized twice with internal bleeding, and both times I lied to the doctors, protected him, all to keep Lily safe. I thought she would appreciate my sacrifice. Instead, she deluded herself into thinking Daddy only hit Mommy because Mommy was bad. It was a child's logic, but she'd clung to it with the desperation of someone who needed the world to make sense. If Mommy was bad, then Daddy was good. If Mommy was the problem, then getting rid of Mommy would solve everything. She'd built her entire worldview on this foundation, and my death had only confirmed it for her. Karma came fast. In my last life, this photo would have broken me. I would have been on the next plane back, throwing myself between Travis and Lily like I always had, because that's what mothers do. That's what I'd been trained to believe. Anyway, that maternal love meant endless sacrifice, that being a good mother meant erasing yourself until there was nothing left. Now I smiled. It felt good. I typed a reply. "She's your daughter. I trust you'll take great care of her. Good luck." Sent. Phone off. Abuse is an addiction. This happy family show was just getting started. I needed to rest up to enjoy the show. I didn't turn the burner phone on for a week. The silence was intoxicating. Each day, without violence, felt surreal, like I was living in someone else's life. I woke up without checking to see if Travis was in a good mood. I made breakfast without calculating how to serve it in a way that wouldn't trigger his temper. I walked down the street without constantly looking over my shoulder. The fear didn't leave immediately. Trauma doesn't work like that. My body still flinched at sudden movements. My heart still raced when I heard raised voices. But slowly, incrementally, I began to remember what it felt like to be human. When I did turn the phone on, there were 500 missed calls. I scrolled through them methodically, a forensic investigator examining evidence. Most were from Travis, escalating from angry to desperate to threatening and back again. A few from numbers I didn't recognize, probably his friends, recruited to help track me down. And then, buried in the middle, a number I recognized. Becky. Becky was my cousin-in-law. She was also a battered wife. Her husband once threw her out of a second-story window. We used to bond over our misery. In my last life, before I fled, I texted Becky goodbye. She begged me to meet her for dinner. I refused because I was rushing to the train. Later, I found out that the second she got my text, she called Travis. They set a trap. If I had gone to that dinner, I would have died that day. The betrayal had been almost worse than Travis's violence, in its own way. Travis was a monster. I'd known that for years. But Becky? Becky had held my hand while I cried. Becky had shown me her own scars, the ones her husband left. Becky had whispered late at night about how we'd both get out someday, how we'd start over, how we deserved better. And then she lured me to my death. I never understood why she wanted me dead. We were victims together. Now I get it. Crabs in a bucket. She was twisted. Seeing me suffer made her feel better about her own pathetic life. She couldn't stand to see me escape. If I got out, it would prove that escape was possible, and then she'd have to confront the fact that she was choosing to stay. Better to drag me back down, ensure we were all drowning together. Becky was just like Lily, an enabler, a traitor. My revenge plan had a spot reserved just for her. As if on cue, Becky called again. I smirked and answered. "Hannah, where the hell are you?" Becky screamed. "You abandoned your child. Do you know Travis is about to kill Lily?" "About to." "So she's not dead yet. That's a shame." I channeled my inner Lily, mimicking her tone. Lily always said her dad works hard, so a few beatings are no big deal. She just needs to tough it out. Hannah, stop being crazy. Marriage is hard. Everyone fights. You need to come back. The same script she'd been reading from for years. The same lines that kept us all trapped in our respective hells, convinced that suffering was normal, that endurance was virtue. Travis gets really mad. It's over if I don't go back. What can he do to me? A woman can't wander outside forever, Becky lectured me. Look, men have tempers. He'll calm down when he gets older. You're almost at the finish line. Why give up now? I almost laughed. This logic was why she was still getting her ass kicked daily. You go ahead and enjoy that life, Becky. I'm not a masochist. Travis is looking everywhere for you, she shrieked. He said he's gonna dig up your parents' graves. Empty threats. Travis was a coward. My brother didn't like me much, but he wouldn't let some bus driver desecrate our family graves. Tell him to go ahead. If he doesn't, he's a son of a bitch. I knew Becky was recording this. Actually, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Tell him this. Since the internet is so big now, he should go online and cry about it. Tell everyone I abandoned him. Maybe he can become a TikTok influencer and get rich. I hung up. I knew exactly what would happen. I gave Travis the roadmap to his own destruction. Hashtag part 3. The performance. Travis took my advice. 3 days later, his face was plastered across my social media feed. Someone had created a TikTok account for him, probably Becky, who fancied herself tech-savvy, and uploaded a video of him sitting in our apartment, tears streaming down his face, Lily clinging to his side. My wife abandoned us, he sobbed into the camera. She just left one day. Didn't say goodbye to our daughter, didn't leave a note. I work 60 hours a week to provide for this family, and this is how she repays me. The comments section was exactly what I'd expected. Men can be victims of domestic abuse too. That poor baby girl. Some women don't deserve to be mothers. Stay strong, brother. You're better off without her. The video went viral. Within a week, Travis had 200,000 followers. People were sending him money, offering to help, treating him like some kind of hero. Local news stations picked up the story. Single father abandoned by wife struggles to make ends meet. I watched every video, read every comment, and felt nothing but satisfaction. Because I knew Travis. I knew that the attention was intoxicating for him, but the reality of single parenthood was already eating him alive. In his third video, uploaded at 2 a.m., he looked haggard. Lily won't sleep, he mumbled. She keeps crying for her mom. I don't know what to do. In the background, you could hear Lily wailing. Video 4. How do you make a packed lunch? Do kids eat this many times a day? Video 5. She needs new shoes, but I don't know her size. Hannah always handled this stuff. Video 6 was where things got interesting. The camera was shaking. Travis was drunk, his words slurred. You know what, he snarled. Everyone keeps asking why Hannah left. You want to know why? Because she's a selfish bitch who only thinks about herself. The mask was slipping. I gave her everything. A roof over her head, food in her belly, and this is how she repays me? And now I'm stuck with this. He gestured wildly off camera, presumably at Lily. This burden crying all the time, asking for her mommy. Well, guess what, kid? Mommy doesn't want you. The video ended abruptly. The comments section exploded, but this time the tide was turning. Did he just call his daughter a burden? Why does he look drunk? Something's not right here. Video 7 was an apology. Travis had clearly been coached, probably by Becky. He was sober, contrite, explaining that he'd been stressed and said things he didn't mean. But the damage was done. People were looking closer now, and when you looked close at Travis, you saw the cracks. Hashtag part 4. The reckoning. 2 months after I left, I got a call from an unknown number. Usually I wouldn't answer, but something made me pick up. Mrs. Williams? An official-sounding woman's voice. This is Jennifer Park from Child Protective Services. My heart rate spiked, but I kept my voice steady. Yes. We've received multiple reports regarding your daughter, Lily Williams. We've been trying to reach you. Reports about what? Concerning the welfare of your child. Mr. Williams has been documenting his situation online, and several concerned citizens have contacted us about the living conditions shown in his videos. I almost laughed. Travis's desperate grab for sympathy had backfired spectacularly. We've conducted a home visit, Jennifer continued. Mr. Williams was intoxicated at 3 p.m. on a Thursday. Your daughter had bruises in various stages of healing. The apartment was in severe disarray, and there was no food in the refrigerator. I see. Mrs. Williams, we need to speak with you about your daughter's care. Can you come in for an interview? Of course. I booked a flight back the next day. The CPS office was sterile and fluorescent lit, the kind of place designed to be neutral, but instead felt hostile. Jennifer Park was a woman in her 40s with kind eyes that had seen too much. "Thank you for coming in," she said, gesturing to a chair. "I know this must be difficult. What happens now?" "We've placed Lily in temporary foster care while we investigate. Mr. Williams is claiming you abandoned the family. Is that true?" I took a deep breath. This was the moment I'd been simultaneously dreading and anticipating. "I left my husband because he was abusing me. I have documentation. Hospital records, police reports from incidents I was too afraid to follow through on, photos I've been keeping for years." I pulled out my phone and showed her. 8 years of evidence, carefully cataloged. I'd been documenting my abuse long before I knew I'd need it, some survival instinct telling me to keep records. Jennifer's expression grew more troubled with each image. "Why didn't you take Lily with you?" "Because every time I tried to leave with her before, she told Travis where we were. He found us and hurt me worse. I couldn't keep doing it." "You're saying your daughter was complicit in the abuse?" "I'm saying my daughter is 8 years old and has been conditioned to believe that abuse is normal. She chose her father because he's never been as violent with her as he was with me. I was her shield, and she resented me for not being a good enough one." Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. "Mrs. Williams, I have to ask, did you intend to leave Lily with Mr. Williams permanently, knowing he was abusive?" This was the question that would define everything. The question I'd been asking myself for 2 months. "Yes," I said quietly. "I did." Her eyes widened slightly. "I know how that sounds," I continued. "But I want you to understand something. For 8 years, I sacrificed everything for that child. I took beatings meant for her. I worked myself to exhaustion to give her a life better than mine. And she repaid me by betraying me to my abuser, repeatedly, knowingly. She's a child. She's a child who watched her father beat me and blamed me for it. She's a child who called me weak for not taking his abuse silently. She's a child who told me I deserved it." I leaned forward. "Ms. Park, I left because I couldn't save someone who didn't want to be saved. I couldn't sacrifice myself anymore for a child who saw me as the problem. So, yes, I left her with her father. I left her to experience the reality of the man she idolized." It's not what you want to hear. I know. You want me to be the perfect victim, the martyr mother who would die for her child. I was that person. I died being that person." I caught myself. Metaphorically speaking. Jennifer looked down at her notes. "Mr. Williams is claiming you were mentally unstable. That you were the violent one." "Of course he is. It's called DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Standard abuser playbook. Can you prove your claims?" I spent the next 3 hours detailing my marriage to Travis. I gave her the names of nurses who'd treated me, neighbors who'd heard the violence, my former therapist who'd begged me to leave. I showed her text messages, emails, the paper trail of abuse that I'd been too afraid to use before. When I was done, Jennifer looked exhausted. "What do you want the outcome to be here, Mrs. Williams?" "I want Lily to get the help she needs. Therapy, deprogramming, whatever you call it. She's been raised to accept violence as love. That needs to be addressed." "And custody?" I thought about the little girl in the pink sparkly shirt, kicking my suitcase. I thought about her cold eyes as she watched me die. I'm not fit to be her mother right now. Maybe I never was. But I'm not sending her back to Travis. "What about you? Where do you want to be in all this?" "As far away as possible." Hashtag part 5, the aftermath. The court case took 6 months. Travis fought it with everything he had, but his TikTok videos were his downfall. Dozens of them, documenting his inability to parent, his drinking, his temper. He'd created an evidence trail that no lawyer could defend. He was charged with domestic violence and child endangerment. He got 3 years, which felt both too much and not enough. Lily was placed with a foster family that specialized in kids from abusive homes. I paid for her therapy. It felt like the least I could do, even if she never knew it was me. I received 1 letter from her, 6 months into her placement. "Dear Mom, my therapist says I should write to you. She says I have a lot of anger that I need to express in healthy ways. I'm angry at you for leaving. I'm angry at Dad for hurting you. I'm angry at myself for not understanding what was happening. The family I'm with is nice. They don't yell. They don't hit. It's weird. My therapist says Dad was wrong to hurt you. She says I was wrong to help him. I didn't think I was helping him. I thought I was helping our family stay together. I don't know if you'll ever read this. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. Lily." I read that letter 100 times. I cried over it, felt the maternal instinct stir again, felt the pull to reach out, to forgive, to rebuild. But I didn't respond. Maybe that makes me a monster. Maybe I'm just a woman who learned that survival sometimes means letting go of the people you're supposed to love unconditionally. Hashtag epilogue. 2 years later. I live in a small coastal town now, the kind of place where nobody asks too many questions about your past. I work as a paralegal for a nonprofit that helps domestic violence survivors navigate the legal system. It feels right, using my experience to help others escape what I lived through. I don't date. I don't know if I ever will. Trust is a muscle I atrophied years ago. Sometimes I think about Lily. I wonder if she's healing, if she'll ever understand why I left, if she'll grow up to be different than what Travis tried to make her. I hope she does. I hope she breaks the cycle. But I'm not going back to check. Last week, I got a notification. Travis had been released early for good behavior. He immediately created a new TikTok account. The first video was titled, "Reuniting with my daughter after false accusations tore our family apart." In it, he stood outside Lily's foster home, filming himself being denied entry. "They won't let me see my own daughter," he said to the camera, tears in his eyes. "The system failed us." The comments were divided. Some people still believed him. Others pointed out that court records were public, that his conviction was real, that he was rewriting history. I watched the video once, then blocked the account. Travis would always be Travis. He'd always find new victims, new narratives, new ways to paint himself as the wronged party. But he wouldn't have me to kick anymore. And maybe, eventually, he wouldn't have Lily either. I closed my laptop and walked out onto my porch. The ocean stretched out before me, vast and indifferent. The salt air filled my lungs. In the distance, I could hear seagulls crying. For the first time in my entire adult life, I was free. And if that freedom came at the cost of the family I was supposed to want, the daughter I was supposed to die for, the role I was supposed to embrace, then so be it. I'd been reborn into a second chance, and this time, I chose myself.